President's term limit has been met with strong opposition from most Kenyans. Stay tuned for this and more, but first, here are the highlights. Hold on. High Court slams break on the 95 billion shillings Adani Ketrako deal pending the hearing of a case filed by LSK.
The applications for recusals are hereby disallowed.
We are going nowhere. The three-judge bench in the Gachagua impeachment case declined to step down. And a big no. Majority of Kenyans oppose plans to extend the president's term limit as contained in Nandi's senator's bill. Our sign language interpreter is Byron Abuli. Now, the High Court in Nairobi has temporarily closed the deal between Kenya Electricity Transmission Company and Adani Energy Solutions, a subsidiary of the Indian conglomerate Adani Group. The deal, signed on October 11th, valued at 95.68 billion shillings, allows the Indian company to develop, finance and construct and operate critical transmission lines and substations across the country. Justice Bahati Mwamuye also stopped Kenya Electricity Transmission Company, Ketrako, and Adani from entering into any agreements until a case before the court is heard and determined.
This will be the second time the courts have interacted with the Adani Group in cases filed at the Milimani Law Courts. Aside from the controversial JKIA Adani deal that is before the courts, the High Court on Friday halted the 95.68 billion shilling Ketrako Adani deal announced on the 11th of October by the Energy and Petroleum Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi. Justice Bahati Mwamuye also stopped Ketrako and Adani from entering into any new deal. The president on Thursday defended the multi-billion shilling power transmission projects awarded to the Adani Group under the public-private partnership framework, urging Kenyans to embrace such initiatives.
The Adani Group are investing in the transmission line. Their money, 95 billion. We would have otherwise gone to borrow that money, burden the people of Kenya. This is now a private sector investment, the same way Keshan here is a private sector investment, the same way Sosian is a private sector investment. We will pay for that transmission line using a wheeling charge that has been negotiated. And it is important for us as a nation to appreciate that a partnership between public and the private sector gives us a win-win outcome.
The Law Society of Kenya LSK sought conservatory orders suspending the implementation of the project. The petitioner contended that the agreement is a constitutional sham and is tainted with secrecy and is short of principles of integrity. LSK also faults the government for allegedly not conducting meaningful public participation in the proposal and for allegedly not undertaking proper due diligence of the proposal contrary to the constitutional imperatives and provisions of the Public-Private Partnership Act. The case shall be mentioned on the 11th of November 2024 to confirm compliance and to take further direction. Abdiaziz Hashim for Easy Friday.
The curtains closed on the public participation exercise on a bill proposing the extension of the presidential and elected leaders' term limits and introduction of a prime minister position. A majority of Kenyans who turned up at the Kenyatta International Convention Center to submit their views opposed the bill, terming it as retrogressive and meant to serve political interests. The bill by Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei, which proposes an increase in the term limits from 5 to 7 years, received overwhelming public interest, with the Senate reporting it has received over 200,000 responses online, causing their email experience challenges.
The standing orders of the House.
Friday morning at the Kenya International Convention Center, The Hilary Sigei-led Justice and Legal Affairs Senate Committee gathered to receive oral submissions from the public on the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2024 that has been a subject of debate. A majority of Kenyans who submitted their views opposed the term limit increments and introduction of the position of Prime Minister.
Any proposal to extend the term of these elected officials will amount to a fundamental alteration of the democratic processes by which citizens exercise their sovereign right to elect their representatives.
We elect you to go to the office to fight for Mwananchi. And yet when you got there, you are just going there for your beneficial.
Jukumu la serikali ni tatu: kutupatia maji masafi na afya, kutupatia elimu na kutupatia mawasiliano, infrastructure. Kila siku tunaona walimu barabarani, daktari barabarani. Ni kazi gani mnafanya?
The proposals to give the Senate the powers to exercise oversight over all revenue of county governments and increase the equitable share of revenue allocated to counties from 15% to 40% received mixed reactions from members of the public.
The resources, what you need to do is to make a bill with regard to proper utilization when it comes to the evolved system of governance, basically on development.
In this line of allocation, you shall improve the services on the ground. Unless now your governor is not performing, you cannot blame the president, neither can you blame the country. You only blame your person whom you elected that is mismanaging your funds.
Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei, the sponsor of the bill, in making his submission said the bill was not government-sponsored, adding that sections of the bill had sparked controversy.
It is Senator Cherargei bill. It is not sponsored by anybody. It is not sponsored by the party. It is not sponsored by your committee. I am the sponsor and I'm here listening.
The Senate, on its part, reported over 240,000 Kenyans had submitted their views online during the 14-day period, which caused their email to experience challenges. The Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, led by Bomet Senator Wakili Hilary Sigei, will now retreat to prepare its report on the views given by the public on this particular bill. Tilio Marco for Easy Friday.
President William Ruto says Kenya must never again be a victim of divisive politics or ethnic strife. Speaking at the Turkana Tourism and Cultural Festival in Lodwar, President Ruto pledged to work tirelessly to unite the nation, underscoring his commitment to inclusivity through a diverse cabinet.
President William Ruto delivered a strong message against the politics of division during the Turkana Tourism and Cultural Festival, insisting that Kenya should not return to a time of ethnic conflict.
Mimi niliamua ya kwamba hatutaki Kenya ya ubaguzi. Hatutaki Kenya ya migawanyiko. Tunataka tuunganishe taifa letu la Kenya. Mimi niliamua nikasema nitatengeneza serikali ya kuunganisha Wakenya wote. Na nimechukua mpaka na mawaziri kutoka sehemu ya upinzani.
The president praised local leaders from West Pokot and Turkana for their collaboration in combating banditry and cattle rustling, saying his administration will enhance irrigation in the Kerio Valley to boost agricultural productivity and reduce lawlessness.
Hiyo 50,000 acres tuweze kuzalisha chakula ya watu wa West Pokot na watu wa Turkana hii. Ile matatizo hawa wabunge wamesema, matatizo ambayo inaleta uhasama kati ya jamii ya Turkana na Pokot tumalize pale wakati tutakuwa tunazalisha chakula kwa pamoja.
The president taking issues with the ongoing conflicts between fishermen at Lake Turkana and the Kenya Wildlife Service, calling for resolution and harmonious relations. In a landmark announcement, the head of state revealed plans for the Home of Human Origins Museum and Science Park in Turkana, highlighting the area's archaeological significance.
Looking to the future, I am proud to announce that the government of Kenya has embarked on the development of the Kenya Home of Humanity and Home of Human Origins Museum and Science Park, a transformative project that will be established at Nomortunga in Kalokol as a world-class center for scientific research, cultural tourism, and ecotourism.
The project, President Ruto said, will transform Turkana into a hub for scientific research and ecotourism, and as such will attract investment and enhance local livelihoods. The Tobongulore Festival, now in its 8th year, has emerged as a key cultural event, showcasing the rich traditions of Turkana community alongside neighboring regions from Kenya, Burundi, Ethiopia, Uganda, and South Sudan.
Tunafanya bidii kuongeza watalii waje hapa nchi yetu, na sherehe kama hii ya leo ni ya muhimu sana na haijaonekana pahali pengine.
Ni utajiri tosha kama tutaamua kufanya kazi kwa pamoja na makaunti, kuenzi asili yetu, kunadi utamaduni na pia kukuza mila zetu.
Ben Chumba, Easy Friday.
Now, the challenge of unemployment was visible on Friday as hundreds of job seekers flocked Kenyatta International Convention Center in Nairobi in search of a job following an advertisement by a Qatari-based company. The job vacancies in the hospitality and service sector were as a result of a deal between Kenya and Qatar as part of the government's labor migration program.
These were the scenes at the Kenyatta International Convention Center in Nairobi on Friday morning. Long queues were witnessed as Kenyans turned up in their numbers to try their luck at a government-conducted interview for job seekers willing to work in Qatar. Participants said the process was smooth, hoping for jobs in the Qatar's hospitality and service sector.
Hapa ni msongamano wa watu tu, hakuna challenge nyingi. Kiyouth nasema serikali ijue ipange mipango penye mayouth wanaweza pata kazi.
Nimetembea hapa hivi KICC leo. Nilikuwa nimesikia kuna hizi vitu tuna apply hapa. Tuweze kusaidika tuende tukafanya kazi nje za nje.
Labour Cabinet Secretary Dr. Alfred Mutua, who was at the KICC, said the government plans to ensure at least 3,000 Kenyans are absorbed into work in Qatar by the end of the year.
This is the first time we've opened it up not to the general public to see whether we can fill in the gaps when they added the numbers. Our expectation is to get at least 3,000 people hired by this Sunday, so that we know in the next 2 to 3 weeks, 3,000 people will be able to go overseas for work.
According to Mutua, the move will not only unlock employment opportunities for Kenyans, but will also extend the country's skilled labor force to Qatar and beyond.
Job migration is an opportunity for Kenyans to go for 2-3 years, get even some more skills, and come back as brain gain to our country.
CS Mutua also revealed the government will assist those who secured the job but lack a passport to process the necessary document for travel.
People can be interviewed without passports, and I've also organized with the ministry in charge of Interior, in charge of Immigration, and passports will be available to the people who get hired within a day or two once they have done the normal processes of application for a passport.
Applicants were interviewed for the position of drivers, nurses, chefs, construction workers, cleaners, waiters and waitresses. The interviews will take place for 2 days.
The government will crack the whip on real estate companies said to be duping unsuspecting land buyers. This follows a directive by Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome for the Estate Agency, a regulatory board, to take action against such companies. Wahome further directed the board to develop policies that will ensure quick resolution of disciplinary issues involving fraudulent farms or those engaging in misconduct. Speaking during EARB's launch of its strategic plan, Wahome revealed that the ministry was working closely with investigative agencies to scale up surveillance on real estate farms to ensure they do not become conduits of money laundering or terrorism financing. She expressed government's commitment in supporting the real estate sector through favorable taxes.
Yani mambo ni mbaya. The industry requires, the land sector requires a police unit. It requires a police unit. Ambaye, when I tell them this is the way to go, with permission of the IG and the Minister for Interior, then they will implement. They will stop unlawful evictions. over the years, the image of the real estate practice has been tainted or tarnished as a result of inadequate enforcement and compliance.
In Marindi, and they're telling you it's near the beach or near the town, but in real fact, when you go on the ground, it's very, very many kilometers from the beach. Actually, right into the hinterland, you actually need security to access some of these areas.
The government will seek non-governmental organizations and private sector partnership to absorb graduates' existing institutions of high learning to tackle the high rate of unemployment in the country. Speaking in Nairobi today, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Public Service and Human Capital Development, Justin Muturi, said the government is committed to reduce the unemployment rates in the country, noting, however, that this will be done collectively with other players in the job market.
The fifth certification ceremony for certified human resource professionals was held in Nairobi today. The ceremony was graced by Public Service and Human Capital Development Cabinet Secretary Justin Muturi, who expressed the government's plan to end the biting unemployment in the country, especially among the youth. Muturi, however, noted that the government is seeking to partner with the private sector and non-governmental organizations to absorb fresh graduates.
We are improving on the caliber and the quality of the personnel within government and other sectors. The majority of these people who are here certified today are not even in government. They are from the private sector.
Muturi urged employers and heads of organizations to ensure the welfare of the employees at the workplace is protected.
Sometimes the way we treat people who work with us is most inhuman. You had a story that somebody sought leave permission to come and attend this certification ceremony and were denied by their bosses at their place of work. What can be more inhuman?
Acknowledging the evolving trends in the job market, employers pledged to align accordingly to ensure the potential of the employees is fully realized.
Because if you look at the generations that we have now at the workplace, the Gen Z and the others, it's not like the generation that we had 20 years ago. And therefore, things have to be done differently. We have to ensure the wellness of these young people, their flexibility, they are TikTokers, we understand them. And if they are not happy, they will just tell you that I have left.
Parsai Frederick, Easy Friday.
The three-judge bench of the High Court has declined to recuse themselves from hearing the impeachment case filed by impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. While giving the ruling, Justices Eric Ogolla, Anthony Mrima and Fred Mugambi said Gachagua has the right to appeal the decision if dissatisfied. The bench has at the same time directed parties to file their amended applications and set the case for hearing on Tuesday, October 29th. And as Ruth Wambui reports, the Justice Ogolla-led bench cited that the recusal application did not meet the required threshold of the 4 grounds of recusal by judges in a case.
The case filed by impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has faced another major blow after the three-judge bench rejected an application to recuse themselves.
We shall also give further directions on the way forward. Consequently, the following orders do hereby issue. 1. The applications for recusals are hereby disallowed.
Rigathi's lawyers were, however, given 5 days to file amended applications.
Respondents, likewise, are granted leave to file and serve amended responses, if need be, within 5 days of service in B above.
While delivering the ruling Friday, the bench comprising of Justices Eric Ogolla, Anthony Mrima and Fred Mugambi stayed put on the proceedings. In a brief 4 minutes ruling read by Justice Eric Ogolla, the judges stated that they based their judgment on 4 grounds: the concept of recusal in line with the Constitution, impartiality as a ground for recusal, whether the application met the required threshold for bias, and whether the applications were merited.
Leave to appeal is hereby granted typed proceedings and certified copies of this ruling to be availed to parties at cost or as the case may be. The directions herein shall be forthwith uploaded in the court tracking system. Those are the orders of this court.
On Thursday, the Justice Ogola-led bench was bombarded with accusations of material non-disclosure of crucial information by the petitioners. The bench was told that credible information reveals Justice Anthony Murima is a long-time friend of Senate Speaker Amason Kingi, thus putting him in a conflict of interest position.
Due to the failure to so disclose on the part of the third respondent, it has led to an erosion of the confidence and the applicants have that will be neutral when it comes to the hearing and the determination of the arbitration.
What should concern this court is the pertinent fact and the act that recusal happened and what the Supreme Court said about that recusal. That's all what this court is supposed to consider.
The petitioner's acts did not spare the lead presiding judge, Eric Ogola, who they said is conflicted as his spouse is a member of the Kenya Water Towers Board, having been appointed by President William Ruto in 2023.
Issue number 2, that Madam Florence Oluoch was appointed to a board by His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto. What are the facts? Madam Florence Oluoch was appointed to the board by Sulpani.
Our constitution, we understand that if you are a civil servant, you're supposed to actually resign from any political party. 2, if you have to be a nominee of deputy president, you have to have been in a political party for not less than 3 months.
However, in a quick rejoinder, the state opposed the move, citing the petitioner's accusation were far-fetched and were using recusal to cripple the bench.
This application for recusal as another attempt to frustrate the processes of this court and to ensure, my Lord, that this bench does not proceed to dispense justice that ought to be dispensed expeditiously in line with the Constitution. I pray, my Lord.
I would want to see the ruling because it is the reasoning that would satisfy any person, including the other side. They would really want to see how the court reasoned towards arriving at that decision.
Meanwhile, the conservatory orders remain in force until Tuesday next week, when the matter will be canvassed broadly. With the shortest ruling ever by a bench, the trio judges have stamped the authority that they will hear Gachagwa's matter to the end. But what lingers the petitioner's mind is the unanswered questions on what triggered to their decision. Ruth Wamboi for Easy Friday from Milimani's High Court.
And Ruth Wamboi's report takes us to our first break right here on Easy Friday. Don't go too far. I'll be right back with more stories.
Colgate Herbal is formulated from a unique blend of natural herbs, scientifically proven to strengthen teeth and keep gums healthy. Try Colgate Herbal, scientifically proven for strong teeth and healthy gums. Choose natural. Choose Colgate Charcoal.
Kenya Forest Service welcomes you to the 2024 Inspector Cadets and Forester Trainees Passing Out Parade on Monday, 28th October 2024 from 7 a.m. at NYS Grounds, Gilgil. The guest of honor will be His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. Kenya Forest Service, trees for better lives.
Are you a holder of unclaimed financial assets? All holders are notified to report and surrender unclaimed financial assets to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority, UFAA, on or before November 1st, 2024. It is now easier to report and surrender. Visit www.ufaa.go.ke and get started to beat the November 1st deadline. It's your turn. Report and surrender today. Please note that failure to report and surrender qualifying unclaimed financial financial assets attract penalties and sanctions in line with Section 33 of the UFA Act 2011. UFAA. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
The children. How many of you brushed this morning? And this little boy, his hand didn't go up. And I said, well, why didn't you brush this morning? He said, my brother was using the toothbrush. If I'd waited for him, I would have been late for school. I'm sorry, I get a bit emotional when it comes to that. To be able to change a child's life, to be able to bring back that confidence about their smile, for me, is phenomenal.
Welcome back. For those joining us right now, this is Easy Friday. Let's proceed. The controversy surrounding the management of the Kenya Police DT Sako has taken a new twist today, with the Sako chairman David Mategwa dismissing demands for his resignation over allegations of mismanagement. This follows a petition to the Sako Society's regulatory authority by thousands of disgruntled members seeking the removal of the Sako's top brass, accusing them of mismanaging Sako funds. Sako chairman David Mategwa has denied the claims, insisting the Sako books are in good shape. Mategwa, who spoke to KBC Channel 1 News on phone, accused the disgruntled members of failing to exhaust internal mechanism to address their concerns.
A system glitch allowed members to withdraw up to a tune of 159 million. This money was withdrawn, and we asked questions that who took responsibility for the system glitch? One, who took responsibility for withdrawing the monies that belongs to the members? Three, and what action was taken against these members who withdrew this money? Because they withdrew it online and they leave what we call digital footprints. And you are able to know that it's Greg who did this. What action did you take to me if I did that? Yeah, because when we cannot protect members' money, then we have no right to be there as board members.
Those are, I think, discordant member, Ogola Gregory. I know they have gone to a lawyer, so I don't know why they are coming to you with a story. And the Sako has its own mechanism of handling the internal problem among its membership. The Sako was meant to make people improve their financial well-being. Two individuals or so cannot go around throwing things in the social media without substantiating the issues.
Parents have been urged to be vigilant and closely monitor their children during this 2 months holiday break. Speaking during a graduation ceremony at the Michael Integrated Academy in Embakasi, Kenya Prison Service Regional Sports Coordinator Nairobi Region Ali Madei Hassan urged parents, guardians and caregivers to be a constant guide in their children's day-to-day activities to ensure that they are safe and grow into well-rounded individuals.
Joy, the community of Miko Integrated Academy in Embakasi constituency, Nairobi County, came together for the graduation ceremony for PP2 and grade 6. As the children take their December break, which is 2 months long, parents, guardians and caregivers were urged to be vigilant to ensure their children are safe throughout the holiday season.
We are approaching the festive season, and our security is very important. The security of our children is very important, as we are going to have almost 2 months holiday, whereby I am urging all parents also all over the country, we should take responsibility of our children's security, because it's good we know where they go, what they do, and you also to know whom that they are interacting with.
Ali Madei Hassan, who was the chief guest at the event, urged parents to be especially careful during the long holiday season, saying some unscrupulous people are taking advantage of the season to prey on children.
So I am urging the parents to take care of the children to see what they are looking at in terms of, mobile, and in terms of, how they are playing and who is interacting with them.
The parents have also been urged to ensure minimum access to mobile phones, instead encourage the culture of reading.
The children, they are using their parents' mobile phones, and which is not really fit, because if they go back to the school, if they go back to the home, they should also do their homework and make sure that they don't concentrate so much on TikTok, Facebook, Twitters and Instagram.
Miko Integrated Academy Director Anab Abdi and the head teacher Ogoya Grace said the PP2 graduation marks a major milestone for children and their guardians as the pupils now transition to the next phase of learning.
My advice, parent, it must be to control of the students. It is important of us.
Miko is an integrated school. We are 2 in 1. That one means secular and dini. So we have secular lessons and dini lessons. Here dini, we normally they're learning things like Tawhid, Hadith, Sirah, and so many. So that one makes our learners, apart from academic, also spiritually. It's perfectly done here.
The school management committing to ensure pupils in the school are impacted with necessary skills and knowledge needed for the market today.
Researchers from Nottingham University and KCA University are set to tackle the gender-based violence menace in the country through cinema. This initiative seeks to redefine narratives about gender-based violence, compelling audiences to confront uncomfortable truths and foster dialogue that goes beyond confines of cultural biases.
In an era where the conversations about gender-based violence is critical, research initiative between Nottingham University and KCA University is set to harness the power of film to spark an even broader discussion. Led by Professor Judy Muthuri, this initiative aims to confront cultural stereotypes and illuminate the often overlooked narratives of gender-based violence.
Through research that is conducted within universities, we can have evidence-based policies, we can change, create awareness like we are doing with this film, we can challenge cultural stereotypes, we can do a lot.
Dr. Zipporah Okoth from KCA University noted that film has the unique ability to engage and provoke audiences in a transformative way that goes beyond mere entertainment.
We thought that using a film will be able to break that silence, to break the monotony, in that when after people have watched, they need to react. And those reactions, it gives people a moment to share their most vulnerable thoughts.
We could make a movie that is both entertaining to watch, but also brings the message of GBV to this country, and maybe that will help. It might help other women to see. If it happens to someone like that, and it happened to me, and she's speaking out, then maybe, like we heard earlier from Dr. Judy, that was very brave.
Dr. Ranson Mushiri further highlighted the need for an all-inclusive conversations, pointing out that boys and men also face gender-based violence, often silenced by patriarchal norms.
Because of our patriarchal society and the gender stereotypes, they do not come forward to speak out about it, and therefore they become victims, and they end up now, some of them lapsing into depression.
Action of religious leaders and human rights defenders in Siaya County have condemned the rising cases of abductions and killings in the county. Drawn from various faiths, the leaders have come together to call upon the government and security agencies to address the escalating insecurity as well as abductions in the country. This and more in our county news wrap with Timothy Kipnusu.
The increased cases of abduction in the country have raised concern from Kenyans. A section of religious leaders and human rights defenders in Siaya County now want the government to take decisive action in addressing the rising insecurity cases as well as abductions being witnessed in the country.
We condemn the laxity of security and law enforcement agencies for not investigating and stopping forced abductions and dumping of unknown persons' bodies in Rivayala and Nyamninia area, among others in Kenya.
Elsewhere, university students have been encouraged to give their views regarding the new higher education funding model when the committee that was established by President William Ruto begins its public participation.
I am your mother. Don't go out of the way to do anything bad. If there's any issue, my office is open with your Vice Chancellor here. Come, we talk. If it's a side of the county, we will do what we are supposed to do for you.
Meanwhile, National Council of Churches of Kenya and Human Rights Organization in Kisii have taken initiatives to prevent disruption of peace in the country, especially with the current political developments. In the construction of the second phase of the multi-billion shilling Lower Nzoia irrigation project is set to kick off soon, following the completion of the first phase. Water Principal Secretary Ephantus Kimotho says phase 2 of the project will occupy 7,500 acres of land and will be undertaken in 8 months.
Phase 1 is covering an area under infrastructure of 2,500, and phase 2 has now begun as well. So you can see this is actually going to be a very impactful project.
In the meantime, Workers' Union in Trans Nzoia, led by their chairperson Samuel Kiboi, have called on the national government to investigate corruption allegations involving millions of shillings meant for boosting education in the county.
County government ilikadiria milioni 80 ya Nawiri Fund, ambapo kufika sasa hivi waliopokea ni pesa zilizotolewa ni milioni 23. So nataka kuuliza gavana, milioni zingine zimeenda wapi iwapo tulikadiria hizo pesa zote?
And the county government of Busia, in partnership with the TB Implementation Framework Agreement, has scaled up measures to mitigate the spread of TB among cross-border traders and travelers at Busia-Malaba borders.
We are also integrating with the HIV screening for diabetes, and we are also doing blood pressure.
Finally, waste management champions in the Lake City of Kisumu are calling for more advocacy programs to sensitize the community on proper waste management, as well as promoting waste segregation at the household level and discourage open waste disposal.
Basically, we are targeting the communities. We want the communities to embrace the issue of segregation at source, proper disposal of waste, and we also want the community to know about the policies that exist on open dumping of waste in Kisumu.
Timothy Kipnusu for Easy Friday.
Now, to a segment we all always look forward to. Netizens have proven to be fluid, especially in wanting to change or adopt careers, more so when there is drama surrounding the said career. In a week choking with bare-knuckle court proceedings, being a lawyer seems tasty for the savage netizens. One John Kaminwa, the undisputed oldest practicing lawyer, left the keyboard warriors typing and deleting. Tess with the details.
Fiery content exchanged this week in the courts of law left the savage netizens with a lot of content to interact with. Let's take a look.
88-year-old John Kaminwa has been serving hot tea this week in a manner matching his legal prowess. The savage netizens have branded him as the grandfather of lawyers. However, what seems to have lit wildfires on the social media realm is his comment after he was asked to take his seat and play it cool.
I am senior.
I will not speak down. We are practicing lawyers breastfeeding.
Political pundit Mesmerized wrote, he haina comeback.
Nasema oi, 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 Johnny Kubaya, Johnny Kubaya, Johnny Kubaya, Johnny Kubaya.
Anonymous, this is too hot to handle. Some seem to be criticizing him for his advanced age. The likes of Don, who wrote, "Wa, Kaminwa is so old." And Onditi, who X'd savagely, "What is Kaminwa still doing in the capital? Normalize taking your old octogenarian parents to ushago wazeeke na uko." Wait, he said Doctor what?
Hiyo ni Kiingereza tupu.
But to some like Jeremy, old is gold indeed. Mary, who has truly fallen for Kaminwa, wrote, "It depends on what you mean by old. This handsome, brilliant man with silver hair is a pillar of integrity."
Za kupiga kimunju ushtuke. Kikis, kimunju ni kumunju.
Alex with admiration, "Uyu mzae ni ngori." However, on a bit of a tragic note, one multi-story building in Kahawa West decided to anguka nayo. But what made the downfall interesting is the witness.
Vana hivi Kingwai nimenunua tu pale chini nikakujaenda pale nikasema nikisikizie sawa. Haya nikiiva hivi nikaona mawe ya kwanza imetoka third floor.
But how did the house fall?
Kidogo tena nikaona gorofa imeanguka hivi. Aya, kumbe gorofa iko chini. Aya, kidogo nikikuja kuambia makarao hapa wakanishika.
Mzing Chikili, who you see eyewitness ni high witness. Queen puzzled, kwani mlilegalize na hamsemi? Well, Queen, we hope to find out soon as we jump to the beats.
Well, that's it for us. Catch you next week on Savage Netizens for Easy Friday. I am Teresa Mutai.
Manzi yako yeupeana na confidence. I'm Jidena, man, I feel like a classic man.
We definitely can't wait to catch up with Tess again next Friday for more interesting news in the Savage Netizens segment. Now on to a segment that we also usually look forward to, My Culture. In tonight's My Culture segment, we delve into the remarkable rites of passage that define the lives of the Ma community, an enduring people rich with tradition. These rites carry individuals through various stages of life, symbolizing resilience, bravery, unity, and wisdom. Our reporter, Jackie Wambiru, takes us to the heart of the Ma community to witness how each rite is celebrated, preserved, and continues to shape the identity of this community, keen in preserving its traditions.
For centuries, the Ma community has celebrated life through a series of rites of passage, each a profound milestone. From birth to elderhood, these traditions are more than just rituals. They are expressions of values that bind the community together, shaping not only individuals but entire generations. It all begins at birth. The naming ceremony is held after parents and elders come together to choose an appropriate name that carries meaning and lineage. A child is not merely given a name, they inherit identity, purpose, and the history of those who came before them. As a child grows, another rite awaits, the circumcision ceremony marking the transition from childhood to adulthood.
Aliletwa na wale ambao wametahiriwa na imbie wimbo ya kutahiri vijana. Kwa hivyo ni sifa, na pia hiyo nyimbo haikuwa na sifa, kazi wanaambia ni bure, ng'ombe yenu leo itapewanwa kwa kila mtu kwa sababu haina murani, wewe utatoroka, sijui nini na nini, mama yako atakuwa na aibu. Hiyo nyimbo ni aina hiyo, unaweka moyo kuonesha kwamba usitoroke hapo ni mbaya. Kwa hivyo aliimbiwa baba kwa nyumba, alipofika kwa nyumba ile maji ambayo alilete alioshwa na kichwa yake na akanyolewa. Baada ya kunyolewa anaenda kutahiriwa ndani ya ng'ombe na anaenda kukalia ngozi ndani ya ng'ombe. Mbona tunatahiri vijana ndani ya ng'ombe? Hawa ni kuambua wewe jukumu lako ni kuchunga hiyo ng'ombe.
It is an event that symbolizes courage and resilience, qualities valued deeply.
Kutahiriwa, kijana sasa alikataa kuamuka. Alikaa hapo chini na kuanza kuita baba yake, hakuja mpatie ng'ombe. Baada ya baba anaita mama. Baada ya mama ndugu ya baba. Kama yuko ndugu yake mkubwa anamuita pia huyo. Hakuja mpatie ng'ombe. Kwa hivyo anakaa pale kuita madada ya mama, mandugu ya baba, watoto ile kubwa ya ndugu ya baba, kila mmoja anaitisha ng'ombe. Na aondoki? Na lazima mpatie ng'ombe. na ile ng'ombe atapata ni yake, kwa sababu alipata kwa njia ya damu. Na hapo ndio kijana kwetu anaanza kupata mali yake ya kwanza. Kuamka pale sasa analetwa kwa nyumba. Baada ya kuletwa kwa nyumba, sherehe inaanza. Ile kwa ni kutahiri, sasa ni sherehe ndio inaanza. Sherehe kabla ya kuanza, mzee anakalia kiti, kuna mafuta ya ng'ombe ambayo ile maziwa ambayo amesheka na kutoa maziwa, lakini hiyo maziwa sasa, hiyo maziwa iko ndani, hiyo mafuta iko ndani ya hiyo maziwa. Unapakwa mzee kuanzia hapo right mpaka kidole ya mguu, na unapaka mara 3 na wazee wanaomba. Hiyo ni maombi sasa inaanza. Baada hapo mama pia anapakwa, anakuja kukaa next to you, karibu yako, anapakwa pia. Baada ya hapo mzee anaondoka kwa kiti, kina mama wanaingia kuimba sherehe sasa, kwa sababu nyumba tayari imewekwa, ilikuwa miti mbili green. Jana ndio iliwekwa, maana yake alama ya kwamba kesho kuna sherehe wapi kwa hiyo nyumba.
Boys undergoing this rite endure the ceremony with unwavering bravery, earning a place among the community's warriors, ready to protect their people and land.
Kusema tu siku mbili, siku ya 3 anaamka kwenda kuua ndege. Kwetu wakati kijana utairi anatembea kuua ndege, maana kuua ndege na vile ile asikae ndani ya nyumba, afanye exercise, aanze sasa exercise. Na pia kuua ndege iko vitu inatokezea. Kijana anaanza kuwa na marafiki pale. Kijana mwingine akiua ndege anampatia yeye, anamuita ngwenyi. Ngwenyi ni kuonesha kwamba ulinipatia hiyo ndege siku hiyo, wakati ulikuwa unahitaji ndege ya kuweka hapa. Na wakati mwingine unapewa mchele, mwenzako anapatia mchele, ile mchele zetu inawekwa hanja mbele, ile local kitu gam ambayo inakolektwa kwa miti na inachomwa na iko mbele hiyo mchele ndio igonge na ndege. Kwa hivyo huyo ambaye anakupatia mchele unaita mbirian. Ule ambaye anakupatia mnakunya naye damu na maziwa, hiyo damu na maziwa inaitwa saroi. Mnaitana saroi.
Then comes the rite of passage to warriorhood, where young men progress from junior to senior warriors.
Ni ya sherehe ya pili kwa irika. Kwa ajili kuna sherehe ya kwanza tunafanyishanga hawa kabla kutahiri, ndio waende kutahiri, ambaye ni kama hii tu wako na mabendera, na hii ni ya pili sasa ya kutoa hawa kwa uranism kwenda kwa age ya wase.
In a grand ceremony, they shave their heads and join their elders in traditional dances.
Wananyolewa wengine wote, wanakuwa wazee, alafu hii manyata sasa itakuwa imeishia hapo. Tunaenda nyumbani, wamalize mwaka 3 ama mwaka 4, wengine ya mrengo ya kushoto yao wakuje tena kufanyishwa graduation ama mwaka 7, alafu wakimaliza tena wanakaa mwaka 5, wanakuja kuunganishwa wapewe jina moja tena.
This is a time to celebrate their readiness to shoulder new responsibilities, a moment of unity, bravery, and community strength.
At the end of this ceremony, I'll be involved in decision-making in the society. Unlike previously, my sentiments could not be considered, but right now, after this ceremony, I can say something to Council of Elders.
Marriage in the Ma community is a vibrant affair. Beyond a union of 2 people, it is a union of 2 families.
Hatuchagui mume, wewe unapeanwa, familia ingine inakuja inakuoza, wanaleta ng'ombe kwenu, wanakuja kusihi wazazi wako uolewe. Hata tunapeanwa, baba yako anatafuta familia yenye hawana laana, hawana dhambi, hawana kitu kama sasa mtu ameua, tunatafuta mahali sacred ndio tunapeana huyu msichana wetu. Shona tu shanga. Alafu siku hiyo msichana anapeanwa, ile ng'ombe yetu inakuja, ile ng'ombe inanyonyesha ni ya mama. Hizo ng'ombe zingine ni ya baba, na baba anapatia mzee wa rika moja, anapatia ndugu yake moja, kwa sababu mtoto kwa community yetu sio wa mtu binafsi. Mtoto ni wetu wote. Mtoto anabelong kwa community.
Dowry in the form of livestock is exchanged, symbolizing respect, commitment, and the promise of a shared future.
Familia yote, kuanzia father-in-law, brother-in-law, sisters-in-law, kila mtu anakuja anampatia ng'ombe. Anakataa kuingia ndani kabisa, nafikiri mliona. Unaambiwa ingia ndani, unakataa. Ingia ndani, mnakataa. Baba ya kijana anakupatia ng'ombe, mama ya msichana, mama ya the mother-in-law anakupatia. Watu wenu wote, mpaka marafiki, mpaka best man, unakataa kabisa mpaka unaona ng'ombe wameisha. Kwa hivyo siku hiyo ukiolewa, you can gather even 20, even 50.
Marriage cements a social bond, one that aligns with the Maasai's values of family and tradition.
Mother-in-law anachukua mafuta, anakupaka tumbo, anakupaka mgongo, akikuombea, anakuambia uwe wangu na Mungu, uwe wangu na community. Zaa vijana, zaa viongozi, hiyo mafuta ni very sacred. Then unapewa maziwa na hiyo gari, maziwa ya ng'ombe ya kina kijana. Ukisha tu kunywa hiyo, unasahau kwenu. That's why kwetu in our community there are no divorce, hakuna divorce.
As age advances, the Maa journey leads to elderhood. Revered for their wisdom, elders are pillars of knowledge, guiding the community and preserving traditions. Their role is sacred, and through them, the voices of ancestors live on. It is a stage of life where reverence and respect converge. When a Maa elder passes on, death is regarded with reverence, and burial practices vary by region and circumstances. Although burial practices are evolving, this reverence for nature and life cyclical journey remains deeply rooted in Maa beliefs. The Maa rites of passage are timeless, resilient expressions of identity. From childhood to elderhood, these customs bind past to present, a reminder that life's journey, with all its milestones, is a gift to be celebrated. Jackie Wambiru, My Culture.
Thank you very much, Jackie Wambiru, for that beautiful and detailed report. Thank you for staying with us. This is Easy Friday. I'm now joined by my colleague Betty Kiptum, who will keep us up to speed with the latest news in the world of business. Betty, it's good to have you back. We missed you last Friday. You were off to Dubai. Welcome back, Betty.
Thank you very much, Caren. And yes, indeed, I did enjoy Dubai and I'm back. Let's now get to the business news. As she said, my name is Betty Kiptum. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, business news is starting.
Rahisisha uwezo wako wa ushindi kwa kukuwa memba wa Loto Moto, na ni rahisi. Dial star 570 hash, chagua option 1. Ukiwa memba ni rahisi kufika kwenye jukwaa hili ili kujaribu mchezo wetu wa Loto Moto Show. Na pia kama memba unajipa nafasi rahisi ya kuingia kwenye promotion zetu zinazokupa nafasi ya kujishindia chapaa na zawadi kibao kama TV, friji, pikipiki, mashamba na pia magari. Kuwa memba ni star 570 hash option 1. Tushinde kama members.
I can't live if living is without you. Kwenye blanda and dying love.
People who were born in the 80s used to listen to their parents, and the people who were born in the 90s also, but the people who were born in 2000 going forward, they don't just listen to their parents, they also speak to their parents.
Definitely the scope has changed.
Okay.
Yeah, we are learning more from our children than just children listening and looking up to us. We are equally looking up to our children.
So the parents ought to pay more attention to what the young people say.
Yes, and the young people need to also extend grace, because most of these things are new to us.
Okay.
Thank you for watching Easy Friday. My name is Beta Kiptum. This is the business news. The government plans to seal a public-private partnership deal to complete the remaining phases of last-mile connectivity. Energy Principal Secretary Alex Wachira says 42 billion shillings is needed to avail electricity connection to all households and businesses that currently do not have a power supply.
Kenya needs 20,000 kilometers of transmission lines to facilitate last-mile connectivity program as well as stabilize the national power grid. The financing is being sourced through the public-private partnership model since to avoid straining taxpayers.
We have about 42 billion worth of Kenya shillings of last-mile programs that we are supposed to do. Government cannot continue doing transmission lines via the government balance sheet. We are allowing private sector to come in.
Wachira says the last-mile project will target to connect households and businesses that do not have power supply to support economic growth.
We do have 3 proposals, one by Africa 50 and Power Group of India, EDF of France and Adani Group, and many others that are going to come. And so therefore we are saying Kenya is ripe for investment.
As part of private investments in the energy sector, Hexin Group has announced a 1.3 billion shillings investments in green energy that involves setting up a factory to produce energy products for supply in Kenya and the larger East African community markets.
I see this as an opportunity for them not only to penetrate the Kenyan market, but to penetrate the larger Eastern African market, where Kenya is seen as a pioneer in all spheres.
Here we talk about East Africa. But East Africa, when we talk about East Africa, is Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Ethiopia, blah, 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 a lot of countries, right? But the regional headquarters is in Kenya. So we start from Kenya. We start from the business of smart meters, smart distributions, and then solar, and then water. Then we expand to the outside.
The investment is expected to create at least 100 jobs. Frederick Mwoki for Easy Friday.
Now, listed local financial solutions provider HF Group PLC has received regulatory approval from the Capital Markets Authority to raise up to 6 billion shillings through a rights issue transaction. The approved rights issue will offer up to 1.49 billion new ordinary shares at a price of 4 shillings per share. In addition, a green shoe option of up to 30% equivalent to 384 million shares has been approved to accommodate any potential oversubscription. The offer will open on November 12, 2024 and close on December 9, 2024. Moving on, Sub-Saharan Africa countries, including Kenya, need to create at least 15 million jobs annually by the year 2030 to meet the needs of their growing population. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, says achieving these will require policies that support workers to removal of barriers to business growth and encouraging a shift towards more productive industries.
Sub-Saharan Africa's economic growth has generated relatively fewer jobs compared to other emerging markets and developing economies, producing only a third of the jobs. This trend is especially evident in low-income, fragile and conflict-affected countries. The IMF says Sub-Saharan Africa has struggled to effectively reduce poverty, food insecurity, social tension, and instability. The latest report from the IMF on meeting Sub-Saharan Africa's urgent job creation challenge highlights an urgent need for job creation. The report says labor markets face high informality and significant barriers to job creation. The IMF says Sub-Saharan Africa needs to generate numerous quality jobs that go beyond subsistence levels.
We discussed the tough balancing act that policymakers in the region face. One of these, of course, is to continue to sustain improvements in macroeconomic balances, make room to spend on development and social protection, and to do so, to do reforms that are socially and politically acceptable. The latter, making reforms acceptable, requires quite a bit of communication, consultation, improved governance to build confidence, and of course measures to promote inclusive growth through job creation.
The report notes that the employment landscape in the region is dominated by subsistence-level jobs, with less than 1 in 4 workers engaged in wage employment. Over a third of workers are classified as working poor, earning less than $1.90 per day. Underemployment is notably high, especially in rural areas dependent on seasonal agriculture. Businesses and farms also face significant constraints such as access to finance and reliable electricity. The IMF says frequent power outages hamper sales, productivity, and overall employment levels. Wairi Mojenga for Easy Friday.
Sugar development levy will be collected by the Sugar Board instead of county governments following approval by the National Assembly and the Senate. The Sugar Board has been tasked with, among others, repairing roads in sugarcane growing regions.
All white sugar, including locally produced sweeteners, will be subject to sugar development levy after the Senate and the National Assembly rejected a proposal to exempt locally produced sugar from the levy. The sugar bill that is now awaiting presidential assent will see creation of an independent sugar board that will be mandated to regulate the value chain.
That was repealed through the enactment of the Crops Act 2013 to re-establish the Kenya Sugar Board, to invigorate the sugar sector through re-establishment of the Sugar Development Levy and the Sugar Development Fund, and to establish the Kenya Sugar Research Institutes, was considered and passed by the National Assembly on the 27th of September 2023, and thereafter referred to the Senate for consideration in accordance with provisions of Article 110(4) of the Constitution.
Parliament agreed on the board's composition, with farmers and university dons being members of the board. Once constituted, the Sugar Board will collect the Sugar Development Levy, oversee construction and repair of key infrastructure in sugarcane growing areas.
400,000 small-scale farmers have been at risk because of this particular law called the AFA law, and with this amendment, all this has been righted.
Millers will be required to sign contract farming with farmers after legislators voted to abolish sugarcane zoning. The Sugar Board will also oversee research and cane development, including releasing new seed varieties to farmers. Benson Rioba reporting for Easy Friday.
Still on agriculture, some farmers in the counties of Meru, Laikipia and Isiolo are set to be trained on climate-smart agriculture and sustainable land management practices. This is part of an initiative targeting to enhance agricultural productivity in the region.
The combination of several factors, among them frequent and prolonged drought, have severely impacted farmers in Meru, Laikipia and Isiolo, who mainly rely on rain-fed agriculture. This has necessitated the shift to sustainable farming practices.
Teknolojia ya drips ambayo pia ndio mzuri kwa sasa. Kwa sababu hatuna maji mengi katika area hii. Nimeona kweli drips zinasaidia, lakini sasa inafaa mtu aelewe vile anavyo iweka kwa shamba ama vile anavyoifanyia kazi.
Tumechimba mradi ya borehole iko hapa, na tulikuwa tunataka kuonesha wakulima vile wanaweza tumia hiyo maji chache, hiyo maji kidogo inatoka kwa borehole, watumie kwa manufaa yao.
The new approach targets to equip farmers with necessary knowledge and tools to improve crop yields and diversify their production.
Na pia tumeshukuru leo wamejitolea wakatuletea hii umuhimu ya ukulima siku ya leo. Kama mimi ukiniona pale nimebeba mti mwingine ambaye ni ng'ombe, kwa sababu sasa mimi natumia zero grazing. Sasa nimenunua dhara ili kuongeza maziwa. Ile miti tumeambua badala ya kwenda kununua madawa unachanganya na dhara, inasaidia kusiaga chakula kwa ng'ombe.
Ndio waweze kusoma kupitia hizi demo farms ambazo ziko hapa, na ndio waweze kuset up vitu kama hizi kwa shule zao na pia nyumbani, especially saa hii tuko na mfumo wa education unaitwa KBC.
This was noted at an agriculture exhibition at Munanda Primary School, where over 30 value chain players showcased various climate-smart technologies. Trevor and for Easy Friday.
And Trevor Ngendo's story brings a close to business news this evening. Sports news is coming up with Daniel Wahome. My name is Betty Kiptum. Have yourself a lovely weekend.
A very good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Easy Friday Sport. Now, President William Ruto has said Kenya is working with the International Olympic Committee and the United Nations High Commission for Refugees to support refugees to participate in sports. The head of state was speaking when he met IOC President Thomas Bach and UNHCR Commissioner Filippo Grandi at State House, Nairobi.
President William Ruto said the efforts between Kenyan government, the International Olympic Committee and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees are harnessing the athletes, talents and potential of refugees at Kakuma, Turkana County and positioning the camp as a hub for Olympic talent.
Whatever can be mobilized, every resource, every intervention is absolutely necessary to make sure that we keep sports clean and make sure that all our athletes, all our sportsmen and women are in a space that their sporting is not adulterated by doping.
With Thomas Bach, the president explored potential partnership between the IOC and the Kenya Academy of Sports to further advance and the development of sports so that Kenyan sportsmen and women can fully reap the benefits of their talent and reach their potential.
This is exactly our position in the International Olympic Committee, because only this position allowed us to have the athletes from all the territories of all 206 national Olympic committees competing in Paris.
On his part, Thomas Bach pointed out that Kenya has effectively established itself as a reputable sporting nation internationally with commendable sports administration nationally. He commended the government for fully supporting sports, adding that the Kenya is one of the IOC members with a holistic sports program.
I made a decision that we must stop doing anything else with the sports fund except sports, so that we can pay much more attention and provide better infrastructure, better support to our sportsmen and women.
Part of the reason why the president is here is to visit Kakuma, the refugee camp in the Turkana, signifying the connection between sports and promotion and protection of the refugees. As you know, Olympics also includes as a category of refugees are given their own category in terms of the competition.
On the critical matter of doping that has overwhelmed athletes globally, the IOC head told President Ruto that he had held talks with Kenya sports officials and agreed that any new developments will be addressed comprehensively. For Easy Friday Sports, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
Up to the line, the Algerian is not going to get...
Now, the national under-17 women's soccer team, the Junior Starlets, are expected back home tomorrow morning after making their historic debut at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in the Dominican Republic. The Junior Starlets did not come back empty-handed, as they ensured they collected at least 3 points when they beat Mexico by 2-1 thanks to Valerie Nekesa and Lorna Faith, who was the player of the match. Kenya was eliminated in the group stage after losing by 2-0 to England in their opening match and by 3-0 to two-time champions North Korea in their second match to finish third in Group C. Though they didn't make it to the knockout stage, the Mildred Cheche Chargers became the first football team in Kenya to take part in a FIFA World Cup competition as well as win a match.
Inafaa tuanze mapema na maybe tutafikia mahali penye tunaweza kaa sisi sote as a team tukae hapo hivyo tukifanya zoezi. At least sahi tumelearn from the opponent teams, tumeona game zao venye ziko. wako very tough, and I think tukirudi home pia sisi tunaenda work more harder.
Tumeridhika na vile wameperform, waling'ang'ana kabisa na kupigania taifa yao, na tunafurahi sana jinsi walivyofanya.
AFC Leopards chairman Dan Shikanda has announced his candidature to be a member of the National Executive Committee for Nairobi County in the forthcoming FKF elections. Speaking in Nairobi, Shikanda said he has a wide range of experience in football matters and will work closely with the national body to improve the state of football in the country.
The decision is grounded in my deep commitment to the game and a vision of Kenyan football that I believe is within reach. A vision of growth, unity, and new opportunities at every level of our sport. As someone who has been involved in Kenyan football for many years, I have seen both our strengths and our struggles. I understand what is required to bring about a new dawn in our industry.
And midfielder Kenneth Muguna has been ruled out of Harambee Stars Africa Nations Championships first leg qualifier against South Sudan on Sunday after failing a late fitness test. Muguna, who pulled a hamstring in Kenya Police FC's 2-0 win over Mathare United, was replaced by Clifford Otieno of Nairobi City Stars as the team jetted out of the country for Juba. Kenya automatically qualified for the 2025 CHAN tournament as co-hosts with Uganda and Tanzania, but will go through the qualifying phase where they play South Sudan in a two-legged tie to determine who will proceed to the next round. The return leg will be played on the 3rd of November at the Nelson Mandela Stadium in Uganda.
To go this way to a match is not easy. Preparation is not like we wanted, so it doesn't matter. Most important is, like I said, to give some new faces a new chance to show themselves. These are players which we followed a long time now in the Kenyan league.
Go prepared in a way that we have to win the two leg and at least we can be safe for qualification ya CHAN. So we are ready, and hopefully we get good results away and at home.
Now, and the late Gor Mahia and Harambee Stars legend Austin Odwor will be giving a befitting send-off on the 9th of November, according to his former teammate and family representative Tobias Otola. A funeral organizing committee has been constituted to ensure that everything goes well. It is led by Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of performance and delivery management in the office of the President, Elido Walo.
We discussed a lot of issues about the preparation on how to run the affairs of the late Austin, and we arrived at different dates to help us make sure that all the program runs smoothly until the body is laid to rest on the 9th of November.
And we take a short break. We'll be back with stories from outside of the country when we come back.
Rahisisha uwezo wako wa ushindi kwa kukuwa memba wa Loto Moto, na ni rahisi. Dial star 570 hash, chagua option 1. Ukiwa memba ni rahisi kufika kwenye jukwaa hili ili kujaribu mchezo wetu wa Loto Moto Show. Na pia kama memba unajipa nafasi rahisi ya kuingia kwenye promotion zetu zinazokupa nafasi ya kujishindia chapaa na zawadi kibao kama TV, friji, pikipiki, mashamba na pia magari. Kuwa memba ni star 570 hash option 1. Tushinde kama members.
What do you want? For the sake of peace between you and me.
What about you stay away from J&J and my family for good?
Atoka yuko. Umeanza kuzembea kasini. How hard is it to keep tabs on a middle-aged woman?
You know, that's one of the things that make you so attractive, Ronald.
Alice, are you hitting on me?
Loyalty is quite a rare quality to find nowadays.
Make sure you keep a very close eye on Alice. I think she's developing cold feet. And people make very stupid mistakes when they are scared.
Back. Now, Joao Felix netted a brace as English Premier League side Chelsea thrashed Greek side Panathinaikos by 4-1 to remain unbeaten in the UEFA Conference League. In other matches, Real Betis drew 1-1 with Copenhagen, while Fiorentina beat St. Gallen by 4-2.
Cushion header for Mudryk. Joao Felix is there, and it's a fabulous goal. From Dewsbury Hall, he's in behind now, Neto. Mudryk's there, and it's 2-0. Does get ahead to it. Joao Felix, got to be worth a go from there. Oh, okay. On the outside, Ioannidis, and there's the goal.
Afslutningen udefra, det er et forrygende spark. Betty. Ja tak, det er en sikker scoring. Kevin Dix.
Now, Manchester United were held to a 1-0 draw by host Fenerbahce as Tottenham Hotspur beat AZ Alkmaar by a solitary goal in match day 3 of the UEFA Europa League. In other matches, Roma beat Dinamo Kiev by 1-0, while Porto defeated Hoffenheim by 2-0. 22 points on his debut as the Dallas Mavericks registered a 120-109 victory over the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA. The 34-year-old Thompson moved to Texas last season after 13 years with the Golden State Warriors. 18 of Thompson's 22 points came from three-point shots, which is a record for a player on his debut for the Mavericks. Elsewhere, the Boston Celtics made it 2 wins from 2 with a 122-102 victory over the Washington Wizards. The Minnesota Timberwolves narrowly beat the Sacramento Kings 117-115, while the Denver Nuggets lost 102-87 to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Championship vibes with his approach. And he trained like he was behind, not like the team owed him anything. Coach Kidd said that was rare when you have a future Hall of Famer who was in another city for 13 years. He did Washington, and Daniel Gafford told me before tip, he brings the championship vibes with his approach.
Wembanyama and Castle out there. Wembanyama going up against the defense of Daniel Gafford. He knocked it away.
And that's the sport for tonight. Thank you for being with us. Lots happening over this weekend, including the finalization of the IOC president, Thomas Bach's trip to Kenya. That's coming to a close. And also throughout the weekend, keeping up with the Harambee Stars as they play with South Sudan. My name is Daniel Wahome. Back to Caren Kibbett.
Thank you, Daniel Wahome, for all the sports stories making headlines this evening. And that brings us to the close of tonight's Easy Friday. A big thank you to our sign language interpreter, Byron Abuli. Up next is DJ Cool Jacks with a disco funk show to keep your weekend grooving. Stay connected with us on our social media platforms, and let's keep the conversation going. Have a wonderful night, and we'll meet again next Friday, same time, same vibe. My name is Caren Kibbett. Good night.
Unavyoona saa zingine naweza amka hata nishindwe kuamka, ni kuumwa, inauma mpaka inabidi nikae kama nimelala. Ikianza kuuma tu ina affect hapa mji huo, inauma kabisa, inapiga huku karibu na jicho hivi, alafu na meno. Unapoona hapa vile tumefula, ikianza kula hapo hakuna kitu inaanza pitia hapo, nakula na hii side moja, na ikipita hapo lazima isikie ule uchungu. Shida yangu kubwa si pesa, ile nataka tu hii ugonjwa niondokee, vile naweza pona. Mimi nikipona nitashukuru sana.